But then I get to decide. Sorry, I'm in the middle of this idea. I'm like, ooh, that looks good, hon.
I can't find the cinnamon. I don't know.
The cinnamon.
I mean, I just had it. I used it. I put it somewhere. I'm always the one.
There's the honey.
I'm always the one who's losing this stuff. Alright, okay, I found the honey.
But it's better. We're doing better, hon.
Yeah.
We can use that vanilla extract to wash those brushes if you want. Because it's got alcohol in it, and we're not into drinking alcohol. I'm drinking alcohol. That's vanilla extract. But you know what I mean. Like,
but I did put some in the
eating alcohol.
Batter.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And
then.
I just
That's
realized
fine.
it's the idea that I'm gonna like lose control of my drinking is absurd at this point. See what that's cool for people to know that like I was like a fucking hardcore. I'm not. They say once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. Maybe, but that doesn't mean you can't control yourself. It's like.
Well, that's the thing that the camera does for me.
Okay, and it's something you learn. But I don't go to AA meetings, and if you go to AA meetings, they'll tell you. If you don't go to AA meetings, sometimes they'll say in our experience. Other times they won't say that. They'll just say. If you don't go to AA meetings, you're going to drink again, and that's
I think AA keeps people sick sometimes.
Yeah.
I think it's helped some people, but I don't know. It stunts their growth because then they're dependent on AA. So
Right.
I don't know. I think it's a good thing to grow out of that, but whatever. I don't want to really go into.
There's people that go
back
back to AA to do service work as part of, and by service work that means going to and chairing AA meetings. And telling people your story, and then, and thereby giving them hope that they too can stop drinking. And those people, if they stop doing this service work, they feel like they'll start drinking again. So, I don't know. It's definitely all. I can see where it has something to say for it, but. Yeah, it is completely about codependency at the same time.
Well,
it's about depending on that network and...
I'm thinking about that.
Yeah, maybe I'm thinking about it in a way that I hadn't too.
Well, I'm thinking about it like you and I are codependent on one another. The camera is my point. I'm codependent on that camera.
Right.
If that camera, on you guys, on Sheila.
Well, yeah, and I mean, Sheila, represents an
group
audience.
Of people, right. Yeah. But so does AA, I mean.
And in a lot of ways, I don't know, Sheila makes it easier because Sheila is a conduit to the people there. It's not really like there's a person standing in front of us and we're looking them in the eye and...
No, thank goodness.
It's Sheila. So
Sheila is a person, but Sheila is an electronic person, like a robot.
Right,
I mean,
but Sheila doesn't...
That probably sounds like we got a bizarre world.
Sheila doesn't judge us, for sure.
Yeah, she does.
You think so?
Fuck yeah. Our old camera, which, have we ever named our old camera, honey? I'm serious, it makes me want to cry. That camera had a rough
We did, ending. But we don't remember what we named it.
Well, that camera. What is it? Like? No, we called her Eve, honey.
Oh, I think maybe that's right.
Yeah, that's neat because she was the origin of our film.
Right.
Cool. Oh, yay! Because I didn't think of Eve as Eve during the time we were filming with her. I want to cry. Why? I mean, she contributed to our lives, but it is hard to lose things. But also, we've got to get better at losing things because. We lose so much stuff. I mean, come on.
Well, stuff doesn't really... Most stuff ultimately isn't going to last because it's stuff. Some stuff
nothing
will,
lasts,
but...
nothing lasts.
But I mean,
some things last longer.
But you and me will have... Us and all this stuff will... I mean, maybe we'll even still have this. Maybe we'll have...
all of it and
this
more.
parked out at Galisteo, because because why wouldn't we just keep it all, right? But then a hurricane could come and wipe it all out, but then there'd still be you and me there, so it wouldn't matter because we'd still have us.
That's so sweet.
That's true.
And
not like we'd be all happy, like, it's okay, we still got it. But heck, if we were in the hurricane,
yeah.
we probably would be. We'd be like, but right on, we're lucky we got out of there alive. We have each other, you know. Right.
Well, I'm thinking, I know this is a weird response to that, and I thank you for what you said. It's beautiful.
There's a cinnamon.
But cool. But I also was thinking, because I couldn't help it in the context of this question, how the camera affects us, you know? And I was self-conscious during that. I was aware, or at least conscious of myself during that, what you just said, but you seemed less self-conscious, and I thought, of the two of us, my baby is the only one who ever forgets the camera's on. I forgot once, and I hated it. I don't like forgetting the camera's there. I want to know the camera's there. But why? Why is it so important to me to know the camera's there? And that's another question Tom might ask, because it'd be a natural question. Well, then why? Why does that? Because I have private things that I don't share in front of 3 million people. But that has broken down over time where I'm a lot more willing, and I knew it would happen. We talked about it. We've said, do we want to throw away those clips? And I've said, no, because there may come a day when we are past all this stuff and we can share it. It's hard to believe, but we are not there, but we will get there. And therefore, sometimes I look back and go, well, I regret that we didn't film more. Or, you know, at the time I was like regretting that we filmed so damn much, you know?
Right.
But we've kept the same pace of film through the whole process, right? Well, there have been times we felt too vulnerable, and, well, that's my point. But we always come back and film the same kind of amount. The overall pace is consistent, right? Well, we've had more. Well, that's not true either, huh? Well, what were you going to say?
That there definitely is a self-awareness always about having the camera on, so pretty much anything you see, except for those, a few times when I've forgotten, and maybe more than a few times, I forgot the camera was on. And then I'm always like, don't! Because sometimes it's things that way. So when we're functioning the way we choose to, want to, I guess really there's a degree of censorship that is going on all the time.
Yeah, self-control.
And usually, I mean, that doesn't take a lot of restraint on our part, but
well, sometimes it takes a lot for me. That's why I like the camera being on, because it's so damn hard to maintain control. I think that's my point.
Right.
You know, but maybe you don't feel that way, you know, and I think maybe that's why you forget the cameras there more often. Well, I almost never do, and even the times I've forgotten it was there, I think I actually forgot, but it was freaky, you know. It's like I never fall asleep driving kind of thing. I don't, you know. I'm always aware that I'm driving. I don't forget when I'm driving, and then tomorrow I go running off the road asleep. But that's how I see it.
I hope I've never actually straight up forgotten that I was driving when I was driving. I probably have, though. I think I did once, and you had to shout at me. And I think so. Like that's happened, and I think that's the only time that I can remember doing that. And of course, it happens. It happens right when you're like coming up on like basically a brick wall in front of you. That's the one time. That's the only time it ever happened. It's like
that's one too many times. Right. I mean, it's not supposed to happen at all. But why? Why do you have a?
And it's weird. It just happened. It just happened for a split second.
I'm not saying there's. I think you actually have so much benefit to being able to forget the camera is there, and just be totally natural, because that's what the best actors do.
It would probably be to my advantage to. I don't know. Empower the camera a little more to. Help me maintain my own conduct. I don't know.
Well,
I don't like to think that if the camera's off, then suddenly, oh my god, I'm gonna like,
Go
ape
insane.
shit.
But you do, honey.
Because
But you've
they're not
been
looking at
pretty
you, I
ape shit
shouldn't
with the
do
camera
it.
on, but a lot of
I
that you were
know.
drunk.
Well, that explains it.
You wanted the camera then. That was
Right,
really
it's
gutsy of
fun.
you. It was
Yes,
fun, is that what you said?
Oh, yeah, or so I thought,
Oh my
guess.
gosh, you
It's
thought
like-
it was important. I know that.
Oh, did I think it was? Oh, that they were saying something that was gonna like change the world.
Oh,
and
fuck
impress
yeah, honey. A
everyone?
lot of that was you out in Sam's Club parking lot screaming out and telling you were screaming, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore, honey.
Was I actually mad or was I just?
Yeah, you were mad.
I
You were
was
fucking
mad?
angry, honey. How you can't yell, I'm mad as hell. I'm not going to take it anymore and not
I mean,
mean
unless
it.
you were doing like a parody.
No, it would have been a great parody, but you were actually doing it.
I was actually mad as hell.
Yeah, you were
Well,
actually
that's kind
mad
of
as hell.
disappointing. I would have preferred to think I was doing a parody.
Well, it was kind of a parody for the rest of us, honey.
I hope we were filming that when we filming it.
You were, yeah.
That one
I think you've got it on film. I drove off. I said, I can't handle it. I said, you're going to get arrested.
Yeah.
You didn't get arrested that night. It was like the
No,
next 2 days later.
I think it was being protected that night, and I could
Good for
feel
you.
it. I could feel that I was.
And you were
I was
taking
like-
advantage of it.
Yeah,
God.
it was kind of funny. I mean, no, maybe not. My baby drove off.
Oh,
That's
it
not
was funny. I
Did
knew
you-
it was exciting, but I'm glad it's
But you
over.
didn't. Did you? Wait, did you come back?
Of course I did, honey. I'm here.
See, it would be, well, I knew ultimately you did, but you came back that night, right?
Yes. I think it was the next morning. I slept in Albertson's parking lot like,
Oh, shit.
200-300 feet from
I
you.
drove
and-
my baby away. That's terrible.
It was best that I leave because if I would have stayed, we would have both gotten arrested, and the dogs too, and we didn't have legal tags. The dogs,
Oh, you guys.
the dogs. I mean, they would have gotten taken away.
We are living in luxury now. We don't
We
have to
are.
worry about the dogs getting kidnapped by the police while
We're having
up
our
here.
windows broken in from
Yeah.
crazy people trying to steal perfectly happy dogs.
Fucking A, we're the happiest dogs in this fucking world.
Look at them.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna show them where we're staying up here in the sun window. Fucking A on a fur blanket. Under Christmas lights in the sun. Isn't that a song, Mama?
Well, it should be if it's not.
I agree.
So, what else about the camera being on? Do the dogs talk when the camera's off? Fuck yeah,
yeah,
they do.
the
They
dogs
have
talk
things
all
to
the
say. Do the sharks and puppets talk when the camera's off? Yes. The same kind of things happen all the time. Like we cook, but we don't always turn the camera on to cook, and we eat, and we don't always do that for our eating show, but...
We usually do. I mean, when
But
we
usually
can,
it's
we
like...
usually do.
Well, why, if
But
you got
does that-
totally cool neighbors, well, we've got totally cool neighbors and we don't do this, but like if you've got your, I don't know, babe, God, now that raises another new question, then why don't we do this? We've got totally cool neighbors, you'd want them to hang out with you every night. Well, what we want is for them to watch us eat, not to talk to them and interact with
Well, it's
them.
easier for everyone. you
It's
know?
easier for
Let's face it, being around people like
It's very, very
like,
difficult.
well, yeah, in
And we're still
person,
making our contribution to the damn world. We're just gonna do it from a, I don't know, a little couple steps away from
Well, yeah,
life, but
And
that's wrong.
But you know what? You know what's great about that is that they're all in their own living rooms, eating their own food and enjoying that experience. And you can dine with us and like. I don't know. It's like so non-threatening.
This is a
that way.
performance. It's
nice,
not
you know.
everyday life. That's the point. This is a performance. We don't invite everybody onto the performance, but we invite some people, and maybe we should invite more people, and ultimately well, our audience is a part of our show, so we are inviting you to participate, but just in a certain way. You don't get to eat the food. We can't afford it. I got mad at him
actually,
for that.
you know, if this is probably good. This benefits everybody because it's why our show works. It's because it allows us to do what we do for an audience, and you to enjoy the being in our audience watching us.
Sounds like you're coming up with a lot of excuses, but I did feel like I had.
No, but it's the truth. It's the truth. I just
like. Is it really realistic to have 3 million people come into your house, into your RV, and have onion soup with you? The only realistic way is this way. So, but we could probably have a few people closer. But I found myself in speaking about this subject being unwilling to look Sheila in her eye, and I thought, I am ashamed a little bit. Why am I ashamed that I can't invite everybody in the audience to our house to eat, or even one at a time? That would be incredibly logistically impossible.
Well, we want to have dinner with Martha Stewart. Does that mean we're also going to be
probably
expected to
elitist.
host at some point? Is that
well? She gonna sleep on the.
Would you want to
probably
go? Is the question,
Bo might be a little put out if he's staying here.
Right.
Bo would probably have to be moved to the front seat, honey. And I don't think I'd put Martha in the front seat because they don't lay back. You know, Bo might be able to sleep on the floor too.
Well, hell, baby, Martha Stewart's been to prison.
Oh,
she can
honey.
sleep on the floor.
Well, good point.
She can.
Good point. I was going to say, let's give her our bed.
she has a
We
line
could
of-
sleep on the
I
floor.
bet
That's
she has
rude. I'm not going to do that to a guest.
Well.